Matt Powell and Kent Hovind and a few others I could mention have no concept of respect for integrity of knowledge.
No.
They just say things are true because they want them to be true.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things that Kent Hovind will say that you will never find in any scientific paper, article, or book. And the same thing with when he says, to this day, despite everybody correcting him, he still says that, well, evolutionists believe we came from a rock. Except that no evolutionists ever believed that. Nobody, not one, not ever.
No, I don't believe that at all. I don't believe we came from rocks.
Nobody does. But with that being said, since when has this embarrassment to all of Christianity been worried about whether somebody actually said something or not? I mean, what sort of young earth creationists worth their salt will let the truth get in the way of furthering their own agenda? Please subscribe. Hi, it's me, Creaky. And those of you that have been here a while will remember me asking you to send in clips of yourselves giving your own thoughts on Matt Powell. So if you want to see those, make sure you stick around till the end of this video. But first, let's take a look at Matt doing exactly what he does in every single video he's ever uploaded to YouTube. Making things up and completely misrepresenting real science.
It seems today that the atheistic movement is completely ignorant about their theory of origins.
Right, Matty boy. First of all, evolution in this context is both a fact and a theory. It's an incontrovertible fact that organisms have changed or evolved during the history of life on Earth, and biologists have identified and investigated mechanisms that can explain the major patterns of change. Now, if you want to talk about theories which are suppositions or systems of ideas intended to explain something, then maybe you should be looking a little bit closer to home. And by home, I mean the biblical version of how we got here. Because there is literally zero evidence that supports anything you and all other young earth creationists believe.
Now, this should come as no surprise to us as Bible-believing Christians, that they would be ignorant of their own theories.
Are we? Well, that's news to me and probably everyone else that isn't a young earth creationist, because for a group of people that you claim to be ignorant, we seem pretty good at explaining how Earth became what it is today. And the best thing about our explanations is that they're supported by huge amounts of evidence. I wonder if any young earth creationists will suddenly realize that the reason nobody takes them seriously is because when pressed to provide at least some sort of evidence for their witless ideas about the origins of the earth, they just say it's true because the Bible tells us it's true. But sadly, that isn't really how this sort of thing works. Well, sadly for young earth creationists anyway. It's great for us.
According to evolutionary theory, according to chemical evolution, we actually descended from rocks.
No, we didn't. And as Aaron Ra said at the beginning of your video, which was a clip from my video when I interviewed Aaron, nobody says that at all.
Now, I know that the atheistic movement and the online skeptics will say that they do not believe this at all, but they are just showing their ignorance about their own creation story.
I don't think we are. All we are showing is an understanding of evolution that a pea-brained moron like you could never even begin to comprehend. And just to clear it up, evolution isn't our story. In fact, it isn't a story at all. It's a series of factual details that can be verified by anybody who cares to look at the information and understand it. Non-young earth creationists are just not as willing as young earth creationists to lie to themselves and the people around them in an effort to further their own agenda. And one thing that's always puzzled me, who exactly is benefiting from all this nonsense? Of course we know who benefits, but how do they benefit? Well, religious organizations don't pay tax, do they? Just to point out one thing. But apart from the financial incentive, I can't see any way that these morons can benefit from trying to convince people that Earth is only 6,000 years old.
If you type in on the internet, "You owe your life to rock," it brings up a paper called "You Owe Your Life to Rock."
Well done, Matt. Yes, it does. And I've got that paper open right here on my computer screen. So are we going to go through that paper, which is very short, or are we just going to pick out the parts that you think you can smugly misrepresent? I know what I think. How about you?
If you were to click on that paper, the first few words of that paper are, "Thank goodness for granted."
Again, Yes, Matt, those are the first few words, and I can see by that stupid look on your face that you probably didn't read much more of the paper, but I will reserve judgment for now, because I don't want to be accused of not being fair and not letting you have your say, even though anyone who has seen you before will know that every single word that is about to come out of your mouth will be a complete load of old tosh.
This paper goes on to say that we actually owe our life to rocks that were rained on. And what happened was these granite rocks were rained on for 2 million years, and it eroded the rocks to a point where multicellular life would be able to use the chemical compounds that were eroded from the rocks to be able to come into existence.
Well, I never. That's exactly what it says. Maybe I've judged Matt Powell too harshly. Maybe I've jumped the gun a little here. Or maybe I haven't. I guess only time will tell.
We are multicellular organisms. That means that we descended from rocks.
Well, that didn't take long, did it? I have read through this paper a few times, and it doesn't actually say that we descended from rocks, does it? What it actually says is that single-celled organisms incorporated trace metals into metal-binding proteins that ultimately enabled the diversification of multicellular life. And then it goes on to say that it's an attractive hypothesis. However, another alternative is that life in the shallow waters surrounding Nuna, N-U-N-A, a supercontinent, was able to evolve multicellularity by making do with smaller concentrations of metals. So unsurprisingly, there is no mention anywhere in the paper Matt Powell is citing of an evolutionist saying that we evolved from rocks.
It's so insane. But yet they'll sit there denying it. They'll sit there saying that they don't actually believe this, when we have legitimate proof that shows that it is what they believe, and whether they realize it or not.
But it isn't, is it? All you were doing in your video is what you do in every other video. You're just cherry picking the parts of this paper that you think you can manipulate into what you think proves your point, when in reality all it demonstrates is another discovery that verifies evolution. And just to make it clear, it does not confirm that non-young Earth creationists think that the human race evolved from rocks.
In another scientific paper on the origin of life, it goes on to say that rocks and minerals played key roles in virtually every phase of life's emergence.
And it says that because they did. But the article also does not say that human beings evolved from rocks. Does it, you clown? So if we have got this so terribly wrong, why exactly is it that the average human body contains at least detectable traces of 60 chemical elements? Things like zinc, iron, phosphorus, and sodium. Now, these are all naturally occurring chemical elements, which are found in rocks. It's almost as if real science knows what it's talking about, isn't it, Matt?
So yes, they are saying that rocks were rained on, minerals were eroded, we evolved from the minerals. By definition, that means that we were conceived from rocks.
Well, you clearly don't understand the definition of the word definition then, do you? Because that is not what it says. All it is saying, for the second time, is that single-celled organisms incorporated these trace metals into metal-binding proteins that ultimately enabled the diversification of multicellular life from single-cellular organism.
But yet they will deny the fundamental of their faith. They'll deny their own creation myth.
I'm sick and tired of hearing these clowns saying things like that. What we understand about the origins of the Earth and the study of evolution has nothing at all to do with faith in the context that you are using the word faith. What you believe, on the other hand, in my humble opinion, isn't based on faith either. It's based on lies. Because every word written in your beloved Bible about the origins of the Earth cannot be backed up or verified by anyone or anything. Say it with me, everyone. The Bible is not a scientific textbook. So stop treating it like one.
And they will say that what we believe is crazy and that Christianity is insanity.
Just a second. Young Earth creationism is a very specific branch of Christianity. And even I, a stinking atheist, think it's pretty low of you to tar all Christians with the Young Earth creationist brush. Not all Christians think like you do, Matt, thankfully. It is specifically young Earth creationists who believe this absolute garbage about the age of the Earth and the origin of the human race.
You know what's insanity? Saying that the universe created itself from nothing, and then after that creation from nothing, that rain created itself, rained for 2 million years on some rocks, turned the rocks into soup. The soup came alive, and we descended from these single-celled organisms that became multicellular and turned into fish, and then into fishermen.
Fish into fisherman, Dick. Matt, that is such a stupid thing to say, because you know full well that not a single non-young Earth creationist has ever said anything even similar to that. And when you say it, you always have that smug look on your face, as if you were somehow making a valid point. Well, I hate to be the one to break it to you, Matt, but when you say that, you sound really stupid. Why is it that whenever I look anything up that you cite, I'm always unsurprised to see that you have omitted huge parts of the papers you cite, and on the rare occasions that you haven't left out any of the information from the article you're talking about is usually from a creation science website. I still can't say creation science without laughing. Now, if that isn't a perfect demonstration of how disingenuous you are, then I don't know what is.
That is a fairy tale for grown-ups. And if somebody actually believes that, it just shows that they cannot be trusted in any sense whatsoever scientifically.
Wait, why are we now perfectly describing young Earth creationism? I'm very confused. I thought you were here to completely destroy evolution, Matt. Not going too well for you, is it? And at the risk of sounding like Captain Obvious, I really don't think that a person who thinks that a storybook written in Hebrew thousands of years ago and then badly translated into English is in any position to call what we know about the evolution of mankind a fairy tale. Are you just projecting again, Matthew?
Because if they're willing to believe something that crazy, they're going to spew nothing but inaccuracy after inaccuracy after inaccuracy.
Oh yeah, we're definitely talking about young Earth creationism now, aren't we? Because as much as it pains me, I agree with you, Matt. 100%. Young Earth creationists do seem willing to believe something completely crazy. A thing, man, woman, I don't know, God, just magically made all this appear because he felt like it. Yeah, that doesn't sound crazy at all, does it? And as far as the inaccuracies go, you have about 1 million of them. And I know most of them are deliberate, but an awful lot of what you say is very inaccurate. So thanks for bringing it up.
They're just going to spew nothing but lies and falsehoods because they don't actually care about what truth is. They don't care about what facts are.
I'm starting to feel like I should be thanking you, not berating you. This is a refreshing change. An accurate description of young Earth creationism from an actual young Earth creationist. Lies, falsehoods, crazy beliefs. Yep, those are all pretty descriptive terms for a young Earth creationist.
I should throw out there that Matt Powell did much the same thing with me that Kent did with you, that we, all of us here today, believe that we came from rocks, even though nobody believes that.
If you get into a debate with them, you got to spend half your time explaining, no, I don't believe that at all. I don't believe we came from rocks.
And instead resort to your typical misrepresentations of science, like claiming I think life came from a rock, no matter how many times I explain to you that those are stupid things to say.
Yeah, lots of pretty smart people who disagree with you, Matt. I know I couldn't believe it they didn't invite me on either.
I'm not a smart man.
But isn't it funny when you speak to somebody who isn't a young Earth creationist about this topic, they all universally agree that no one ever said, not even once, that mankind evolved from rocks.
Now, this should come as no surprise to us as Bible-believing Christians, that they would be ignorant of their own theories.
But we're not, are we? And it makes little difference how many times you say we are. And that's the beauty of the truth, Matt. It doesn't matter who believes it and who doesn't. It's still the truth.
Despite everybody correcting him, he still says that, well, you believe, evolutionists believe we came from a rock. Except that no evolutionists ever believed that. Nobody, not one, not ever.
Am I the only person who can't do a Kent Hovind impression? Must be because I don't have an accent. Anyway, with all the videos I've made about Matt Powell, I got to thinking, and I thought, I bet there are lots of people that watch me that would love to have the opportunity to address Matt, and for whatever reason, they'll never get the chance to be heard because they haven't got a YouTube channel or they don't want to, whatever. So I've invited some of my lovely subscribers to send me some clips of them letting this douche canoe know what normal everyday people think of him and his misrepresentation of science, and of course his homophobia and transphobia and so on and so forth. So here we go.
Hello, Matt. I'm making this clip to tell you that you are loved. I joined the ministry because I wanted to show the world that God is love. And then I left the ministry when I realized God's not real, especially not your God. And yet I still managed to love all mankind. Because of that love, I promise to do everything I can to stop you. To stop your lies, your manipulations, your hate, because those things are not of Christ. And your hypocrisy should damn you. But it won't, because God's not real. And you should thank God for that.
Matt Powell, you have basically been wrong about everything you've said. And now basically you are a disgusting human being. You're one of the reasons I've started my own Debunking YouTube channel. And I'm going to make it my mission to destroy absolutely everything that you put on from now on.
Matt, I hope that when you die, you get transported to hell without your shoes. And I hope that hell is nothing but endless hardwood floors and Legos. Have a good day.
Hey Matt, was watching your video and I remembered something interesting. You know, studies have repeatedly shown that the #1 indicator of closeted homosexuality is overt homophobia? Yeah, so maybe you'll think about that next time when you're spewing your bigotry based on nothing more than your blind faith of a 2,000-year-old book of Middle Eastern fairy tales, you jackass.
So you had to become so hateful. What went wrong? I have been studying your body language and the way you speak. They tell a lot about you. La-di-da. I think you're trying to be something that you're not.
Matt Powell, if I had a year, I couldn't sift through all of the lies and filth that spew from your gaping maw. Your birth was a net negative for all of humanity.
Matt Powell, as a gay woman, my greatest fear is someone like Matt Powell gives power to someone to do another Pulse nightclub shooting.
Matt Powell, you disgust me. Aside from the lies and misrepresentations you continually push out in favour of your ridiculous creationist beliefs, alleged beliefs, because I don't believe them for 1 minute, your attitude and behaviour towards our gay friends and society members is utterly despicable. You are a stain on humanity. Go away.
Hi, I'm Tiny Captain, and many years ago, when I was an apprentice on Dutch vessels were called a tunnel. The definition of tunnel is a piece of poo or feces that left in ass hair. And Matt Powell, that title is still a big compliment compared to the homophobic piece of that you are. Hey, you guy! Did you manage to filter out the construction workers from next door? Good, send it to Creaky.
Well, what can we say about Matt Powell that hasn't been said already? He's tolerant of gays. No, I can't say that. He's tolerant of trans people. Can't say that either. He's tolerant of Muslims. Nope, that's not going to work. I know. Matt Powell is the most hateful piece of coagulated filth that has walked this 4.5 billion year old planet.
In many ways, I feel quite sorry for Matt Powell. People like him, they don't just happen by chance, they get created. They start off as vulnerable people and they're moulded and beaten into shape until they've got no curiosity or empathy left. They can't exist outside of the influence of their creators, they're just husks. Drones, they parrot their cult's hateful parody of faith. They feed the machine.
Matt Powell, you are supposed to be a preacher, but the world is crying for all the evil that you say day after day after day on your videos.
Matt Powell, it's a pity there isn't a hell for you to go to.
Yo, Matt Powell, the 1300s called. They want their primitive arrogance back.
Hey, Matt Powell, remember us? Robert and me, remember the studio? This is where you ran away, remember? And you didn't only run away, you decided to cancel a show with Jackson Wheat that you had the day after that, and a few days after that you posted that you would never go on an atheist channel ever again. We made that happen. We scared you. Didn't we, Robert? I mean, must have been.
Absolutely. You ran, and Matt, I still remember it was right before the kickoff of the show. You asked me and Peter, hey, are either one of you homos? Now, not only was that totally irrelevant, I remember asking you, do you know what a bear is? And the first thing you did was talk about what's in the zoo. And I told you what a bear was, and I still strongly suggest stop asking random, enormous, muscular men, are they homos? It may not work out well for you.
It might not. What also wouldn't work out well for you is, remember Bree, the one that you tried to mock in one of your videos? Bree isn't phased. In fact, Bree, and if you don't remember her, this is Bree, she wants to debate you on the science of trans. And trust me, Matt, she is going to demolish you. And so in the meantime,
absolutely,
what you can do is look up what a beard is. Because I think we both know where you're coming from, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you want to debate Bree, you can come on our channel. If you want to debate Robert, because he's more than happy to debate you as well. And you still have your open invitation to come on our channel. So that's 3 shows where you're more than welcome to come and defend yourself, Matt Powell. We'll see you soon.
So there we have it. How does it make you feel, Matt? Knowing what the average everyday person thinks of you? My guess is you don't care at all, which is no surprise, because if you did, you wouldn't say some of the horrible things you say in your videos. Thanks to everybody that sent in clips, by the way. Sorry it's taken me a while, but we got there in the end. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and please smash the like button on your way out. Really helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching, everybody. Love you, bye. Except for you, Matt. You can fuck.
Alright, watch this next. But before you do, make sure you subscribe. By order of the Creaky Blinder.